Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Retro Replay Podcast. We have got a really fun one today. I know that we always get a lot of controversy and comments and all that fun stuff when we do tier lists. So we are tier ranking video game controllers from the Magnovox Odyssey all the way up to the Switch 2. Now, we do have some parameters that we put around this. They're first-party controllers. We're not doing third-party controllers. And they're the main controllers. So we've got a couple exceptions in here. I know Cannabis Kid messaged me about controllers for people with disabilities. That's a really cool topic. That's honestly a topic I don't know a lot about, but yeah, so those are not going to be included. And if he pops in here in the chat, I will mention that again. Because he did send me a really long message. He's very passionate about that community. But since we're tier ranking controllers, we have the best person possible to comment on them as our co-host, and that is, of course, Brian BD Retro Mods.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. You know a thing or two about controllers, right?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So this is going to be an interesting one because and I've come into this problem when I've done and yes, I've got paddle controllers in there. Well, at least I have one paddle controller in there. So it's like, how do you rank these where like the Atari joystick for the 2600 obviously is nothing compared to a modern DualShock controller or Xbox controller or whatever. But at the time, it did very well what it needed to do and all this stuff. So it's these get difficult. So
yeah, I mean,
how
I plan on doing it is based on the practicality of the controller at the time and like how it truly played. Because obviously, more modern controllers got upgrades and stuff, but like just the practicality of it at the time. Did it do what it needed to do well? So
and also compared to its competitors at the time.
Correct.
But I also don't want to, at least for me, I don't want a situation where, I'm basically ranking them every generation. And so you get an S tier that looks like just one from every generation, and then an A tier and then a B tier. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. And Otherworldly Open Gyrus says, personally, I got to give it to the joystick at arcades. Controller or not, they're great. Yeah, you got a nice micro switch joystick. There's a couple of those on this list. But we will get to it right away. I'm going to bring up some of these chats, just some of the folks that are here and watching right now. By all means, share your opinions in the chat. This is going to be a really fun one. And we're going to start right off in 1972 with the Magnovox Odyssey, where someone's like, Ralph Baer was like, we really need to set the course for what video game controllers should be. And my thought is Etch-a-Sketch.
Right.
So it is one of those things where like nobody really knew what a video game controller should be. And the one thing I will give the Magnovox Odyssey, although it is clunky, it's got really smooth movement because it's potentiometer on each side.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that little English knob to make the Pong ball or Pong square do its extra loop. But then like you have to, if you want to press the button, you got to take your hand off the controller, put it at the top because there's just one big button in the center. It's awkward to say the least.
It is. I mean, it did its job, but it's definitely
and this is where it did its job, and it had no competition, obviously, because it was the first one out. That's where this idea of, oh, I'll rank it well if it did its job, maybe falls flat.
Yeah. Yeah. It does a little bit. I'm going to let you go first on this one. What are you rating this one?
I have a Magnavox Odyssey. I enjoy it as an oddity. I don't really like to actually play it. Not I mean, not necessarily because of the controller, but also because, like, the game library
Yeah,
is
it's just yeah, it's all the same thing.
really awful. And Zen, you haven't missed much. We're starting at number one. For me, honestly, it's I can't put it higher than a D.
You know what? A D is where I'm at on it, which is why I wanted you to go
Okay.
first. So I just wanted to see where the bar was. Go ahead and do it. So.
I Yeah, and OG says it looks like a weird box, not offending anybody who likes it, but it is a weird box. It is,
Yeah.
um, and like, because I made this mistake when I was tier ranking consoles, where I put Magnavox Odyssey at like an S tier because it started the whole thing, but then it's up there with like all these actually good systems, and it looks weird. So I'm happy with it at D. I'll let you start with the Atari 2600 joystick. And I know I will say I've got these in rough order. Don't jump down my throat if like, oh, this system came out 6 months before that system. And also, there may be some controllers that you consider prominent that aren't here. Like I don't have an RCA Studio 2 controller because it's built into the bloody system. I've got like I'm jumping right to the 2600.
Yeah, so the 2600, I mean, wasn't bad per se. Like, when you look at some of the other things you had with like the microcomputer lines and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I do think it was in the right direction. My biggest complaint with the 2600 controller is, well, because again, they had two variations. Like the very original
Yeah.
ones were much tighter sticks, and I think
No.
I'm sorry,
The
I had them
original ones were
reversed.
the
Yeah,
looser stick.
yeah,
The
I'm sorry, I got it
CX40 has
reversed.
the really tight stick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so having that is good in some games, other games it's not. And my biggest issue with the 2600 controller is the fact that the button is on the left hand side. So it is literally designed as if you're having to use your right hand
Yeah.
to use the joystick. And for me personally, I've never really been a fan of right-handed joystick play. And
That's interesting because like a lot of arcades you were meant to use the joystick with your right hand. Like a lot of the
it,
time. Yeah.
it depended. I mean, some games definitely had the right-handed joystick, some of the classic ones.
Yeah.
I think more than, and again, I don't have any solid numbers, but I feel like more were left-handed joysticks though
Maybe.
than, the way the game was designed, it could be either way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like a Pac-Man where it's just a
Correct,
joystick in the middle of the
correct.
table. Yeah.
So, like all they needed to do was just put a second button there that just duplicated it
Yeah.
on the other side,
And
and
you
that
could
would
play it however you wanted.
right. Hyperkin did that how many years after the fact, and it was just like, yeah, that's really what should have been done. And again, there might have been some other controllers that were out. 'Cause I think the Tax did it too. The Tax
There were a
controllers.
lot of third party. My
Yeah.
favorite is actually there's a little Epix handheld that has a micro switch joystick. It
Hmm.
fits great in the hand. I love playing Atari with
Right.
that.
But I mean, with that said, I mean, for me, the 2600 controller um, is between a B. I'd say a B for me.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that. It's obviously not perfect, but it did set a template
Yes.
because like every non like a lot of the computer lines, even like Commodore and stuff like that, like they were all a joystick with one button, sometimes two buttons. Maybe that button was on the top of the joystick, but it kind of set the tone, and I think it very cheaply emulated what they were trying to do from the arcade, which is a joystick and a button. I would have
Right.
loved two buttons, but and then of course they came in, and I did not include keyboard controllers and
Right. Yeah.
stuff like
No.
that. But
Exactly. I just think it would have cost them maybe an extra 50 cents, if that. You know what I mean? Like to add that to it. And again, and like the pinout of an Atari controller and the inside, it's very basic. Like there's
very basic.
Very, very basic. So I mean, they could have easily, done that with a second button, just duplicating both. But I mean, that's why I did the controllers the way I did them. Because again, I liked having the micro switch instead, and also having the option for having a button on the right and the left, so that way.
And I will say too, like I remember as a kid, like really trying to wrench that joystick over because it has so little movement. So even though it set the standard, I think I'll agree with you. I think a B, and OOG kind of agrees. It did what it did well enough to be not intrusive, but it is not exactly one of those controllers that just melts into your hand and you do that. That said, I'm going to start this conversation with something, and I don't want to hear any goddamn argument. Okay, go ahead and talk about the paddle controller.
Wow, an S.
I love the paddle controller. How can you not love the paddle controller? And it comes with two.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean,
you can argue with me. You'll lose, but you can argue with me. That's part of the show.
My only thing is more the longevity. Like again, and maybe that's not a fair thing to it. It's just like the overall design of it, having the button on the side definitely helped because you could still hold it either direct, and make it work. The smoothness of it was good. It's just, as we know, the longevity of the potentiometers in it, are a little rough.
Yeah, but I was playing when it was relatively new, so I didn't have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, I was leaning toward an A, but I mean, I get it because again, as we've said in previous podcasts, I mean, I am a big fan of paddle games. Now, again, I used my own paddle controller I make when I play.
Yes,
but I do love paddle games, and I wish we'd see more of them in the homebrew community.
I really do, especially now that Atari sells new ones. They do take some breaking in. They're a little stiff at first, but once you get them going, and Egomania is an awesome game. It is an awesome game, and you get to shoot back at that stupid bird. Mm-hmm. But like, I just love me a good paddle controller and a good paddle game because you could just sit there and you're moving back and forth. And I know he might be lurking, but Jeremiah Thomas will tell you that Video Olympics is the best 4-player paddle game, not Warlords. I would disagree with him. I'd say Warlords, but so you were leaning A. I'm a triple S. So
yeah, I'm okay with S. I mean, because again, you really didn't have other companies replicate that, like because I mean, obviously Commodore had theirs and stuff, but like you didn't really see this as replicated.
Well, and the Commodore ones were identical. Shell. I have a pair of Commodore ones. They are 100% identical, just they're gray. And they have a Commodore logo on them. I just wish it was something that took off more. I have a Jaguar controller that has the spinner on it too. Zen Bloke says, S tier, yeah, that's a paddling. Let's go to I don't see Casey in the chat. But we're about to talk. Yeah, he mentioned earlier, I didn't bring up his comment because he called controllers something other than controllers. But okay, so I put two versions. This is not every version of the Intellivision controller. There's the Sears controller. There's but the Model 1 and the Model 2 are the two that most people are familiar with. And I think we could talk about them kind of at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think I am surprising anyone when I say the Model 1 controller is far superior to the Model 2 controller, in my
Yes.
opinion. It's got the bubble buttons, so you can feel like I usually don't play with overlays, but you can feel where your thumb is on that number pad. I'm not a fan of number pads in general. At some point in the late 70s, someone was like, "We need to add more buttons to this controller." You know what has a lot of buttons? A telephone. Um, the disc, I really don't mind the disc at all. Um, it takes some getting used to, but especially for like shooter games or stuff where you have to make like sweeping moves, it's really nice to just keep your thumb on it and rotate around. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the buttons on the side, but the buttons on the Model 1 actually give you that feedback that they've been pressed. And then the Model 2 is just a cheaper version. So
Hmm.
the side buttons, they dig into your fingers and they don't feel like you're pressing them at all. And that number pad it's got some little ridges on it, but you are never sure if you've actually pressed a button or not because there's no kind of feedback like the bubbles.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I mean, for my own self, like I now obviously used both, but growing up, the Model
you had
2
the
was,
Intellivision too, yeah.
yeah, so I didn't really know any different, but I do know it was very frustrating at times playing Burger Time, and it's like, dang it, I know I hit the pepper button, I know I hit it, and yet it didn't respond. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so the Intellivision 1 and the Intellivision 2, where would you put these controllers?
I will
We're
say that
we're
because
about to
again,
offend some people. I know we're about to offend some people.
I know because like I said, I'm teetering. Wherever we go, the Model 2 needs to be one letter grade less,
At least.
at least. Um, and the thing is there's some games where I really like the Intellivision controller, like with the disc,
Yeah.
but there's also other games where I want to take that thing and throw it across the room.
Four-way
And
games in particular.
I mean, it's just, I mean, I give them some credit for trying to be a little outside the box, and of course, they were in that phase of generation where everything had keypad because they were so afraid of the microcomputers and stuff. Um, but I hate the side buttons. Like overall, like I really do not like. I mean, again, the Model 1's better, but I don't like them, and I was always confused why they didn't both replicate each other. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
ultimately it's 4 buttons, but it's really 3. Like they duplicated, I think, yeah, the
Yeah.
top ones, and then which that was really weird to me too. Again, I know I'm going to offend somebody here, but like for me, like I think the Model 1 is a C,
Okay. And the Model 2 is a D.
and Model 2 is a D.
I agree with the Model 2 being a D. I am between because Andy's asking why did we put the 2600 at a B? And we're trying to take like the historical significance out of these. It's a very stiff joystick. It has one button. It could easily have a second button that could have just been on the other side and done the same thing. But then you could use it left-handed or right-handed. So we dropped it to a B for that. Um, the Intellivision 1 controller. So I'm going to agree with your C. I would give it's between a C and a B for me. It's like a B minus slash C plus. Um, because in long-term gameplay, you get what I like to call Intellivision claw.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're holding it like this and you're constantly pressing with these two fingers and your thumb. And just when you're done playing, and Casey's even after I told him about it, he's like, yeah, I get what you mean. Like your hand just kind of feels cramped. I do like the fact that the disc is at the bottom because it's anchored. when we talk about the ColecoVision controller, I know I'm going to offend people with this, but I I do think it is the worst second gen controller. And Jeremiah Thomas would argue with me that it's even second gen. He'd be wrong, but he'd argue me. So at least it feels anchored in your hand when you're playing. But yeah, I'll go with that. For me, it is a B minus. Off grid would have said B. I give it a C plus, B minus.
Yeah, I mean, if a B minus existed, I'd say B minus.
And we can only have, like, I could make a tier ranking list with like A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, and then it would just be stupid big. So we've got to we've got to kind of pick our battles. So we'll go with the C and D. I'm really in between here. And I think honestly my nostalgia is what's keeping this below the Atari.
If you want to put it to B, I mean, I'm okay moving it to B. I mean,
yeah, I feel better with that. Because, like, listen, it does. Intellivision was made to have more, we laugh at it now, but like simulation games, more in-depth games. And this did do it very well. I'm not a huge fan of the number pad. I'm not a huge fan of the Intellivision Claw and all that. The disc is fine. People who complain about the disc, honestly, it's fine. So yeah, I feel good with that. Thank you for being generous with my C plus. And I didn't include the driving controller because there's only one original Atari game that even used it, which was Indy 500. So, yeah. So B. Yeah, and Pierre agrees, and I know Bart also mentioned that, so I'm happy with that. Now we go to the Odyssey 2 controller, which is very similar to the Atari joystick. Positive. I like the fact that the joystick actually moves on this one.
Yeah.
But there is one massive negative to this. And that is that stupid Stargate that they put. So if you're trying to go from like left to top, you can't just sweep it around like you would with literally any other joystick. You have to like bring it in and put it back up because it locks into position. What a strange choice.
Yeah. Well, open one up, it's even stranger. So I mean,
I don't think I've ever actually opened one of those up.
Yeah, I don't like it, and it's just I think it's just, again, it's the same issue like with the Atari, where I just feel it needed a button on each side that was the same button. You know what I mean? So you could have it left-handed or right-handed. But I feel like the joystick on it's just too thin. Like I feel like,
I don't especially mind that.
I don't know. It just when you go from playing the Atari one and then you go to that.
Well, I know you like a girthy stick, but
I don't know. I mean, it's okay, but it's definitely not a favorite of mine. So
I personally would probably put it at a C.
I
think that the little Stargate is the only thing that it's like a fatal flaw for the joystick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would like it better than the 2600 joystick because it does have movement in that joystick.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put that at a C. We'll put it at a C. I'm not going to explain that on this podcast. Girth means width. He likes a thicker stick. Hey, we moved it up from a C. You weren't here for it. You're lucky. All right. So, because I'm going to rant, you go ahead and start with the ColecoVision controller.
Again, I know
the stock original ColecoVision controller.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know it's gonna offend some folks, but like, I do not like the controller at all. I mean, I struggled with a lot of these second gen controllers, honestly, like in the sense of I know what they were trying to do, because like I said, they were so afraid of microcomputers at the time, and they felt that that was the competition and they had to do all this extra stuff for it, and it just really isn't necessary. And again,
OOG, no, I will explain to you the significant differences that makes this controller suck so much worse.
yeah.
Sorry,
No,
go ahead.
I mean, yeah, no, it's just like that the joystick at the top. I'm with you. I'm not a fan of it being up at the top. And again, I don't like having the buttons on the side. Like if it would have been
Yeah.
more like a layout similar to, I mean, I don't want to say Neo Geo per se, because that's not as big of a controller, but if it would have been something more maybe toward like NES Advantage or something like that, I mean, I could have been a little more on board. But it's just really weird having buttons on the side that are two different buttons. You know what I mean? To do stuff. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it at all. To me, it's an easy D. So
Yeah, well, okay. So which joystick can withstand decathlon sessions?
none.
None. Okay. So let's talk ColecoVision garbage. Somebody looked at the Intellivision controller and said, I can make this much worse. So first of all, you have the number pad. I've already told you I'm not a big fan of the number pad. But here's what we're going to do with the number pad. We're going to put a gate on it so you can't slide your thumb around the number pad. You've got to like go over each freaking ridge to reach each button. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the joystick at the top so that your hand and arm is always covering that stupid number pad, so that if you have to look down at it, you have to like move your arm out of the way. We're going to put a joystick that is just about as stiff as the Atari 2600 CX40. And we're going to put it at the top of an elongated controller that you're holding mostly from the bottom, so that it constantly feels like it's pulling out of your hand. We're, we're going to give it the little spin, and Intellivision has this too, the stupid phone cord that, like, if you're sitting back from your system, it always trying to pull you forward, which even adds it trying to come out of your hand. And we're going to have the same claw problem that the Intellivision controller has. Man, I love the Brian, you sincerely saved the ColecoVision for me. I bought a BD Retro Mods arcade stick. It is right over there. I didn't cover any ColecoVision prior to that because I just hated playing it because of that joystick. For me, the original ColecoVision joystick is the easiest probably on this list, F. It is an absolute F to me.
Well, like I said, at a minimum, I was at a D. So
I am so glad to hear that, Brian.
I mean, I'm not. I don't blame you on that. I do not like that controller, because again, ColecoVision as a console, holy
great
crap, it has
console,
a ton of great stuff, and the homebrew community for it is even crazier. Everything they're doing with it, it's just. But man, and then again, some people love that thing. No, I do not like that controller at all.
Yeah. Andy makes a point. The CX40, for all its flaws, is a tank of a joystick. I've seen them where like the rubber is all chewed off the top from somebody's dog, and you plug it in and it works just fine. So, I mean, if any of these joysticks is surviving decathlon, it is probably your CX40, but I'm not moving it up to an A for you. Yeah, with a mushy gasket on the joystick that you can't tell if it's working or not. It's brutal. It's brutal. Well, okay, so we'll talk about that. We got one more ColecoVision controller to go. The Super Pro controller. Now, people who like the original Coleco joystick hate this thing. And for me, it's bad. I don't think it's quite it's still bad, but it's not
Yeah.
quite as bad as the original one. The joystick, at the very least, is a little more forgiving. Like,
Mhm.
you feel it actually do, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to pull out of your hand. But I don't give it much more credit than that.
Right, and again, I having the buttons down where they had them, I don't again, I do not understand that concept. Like, when you think about all the arcade cabinets and everything else, I'm just not sure where in, like, R&D they're like, "Yeah, let's have a controller that we have to hold like this and try to use our finger all 4 of our fingers to hit the buttons on it."
It's a
I don't
neat
know.
concept. I know, like, I wasn't overly familiar with ColecoVision as a kid, or Intellivision for that matter. Like, I was an Atari kid. I knew the Atari system. I didn't even know the 5200 existed until later. Um, but it's kind of cool. Like, I remember seeing it, I'm like, "Oh, that would be a cool way." And, looks go a long way with this thing.
I mean, it looks like a Star Trek phaser type deal. I mean, it looks like something
Which,
from
I
Star
mean,
Trek.
it's
I
really,
mean,
and there was a Star Trek game that
there
you could play with
was.
it.
Yep.
Like, that gets it purchased. Now, what gets it used is if it's any good, and it's kinda not really.
I I'm a I'm between a C and a D with it. Probably more
For
toward a
me
D.
for me, I'm a D.
Yeah.
So, look at this. We're mostly agreeing here. Um, Intellivision Gamer is out back to school shopping with his kids, and he's like, "Come on, AT&T, I'm trying to watch the Retro Replay podcast." Um, was, looping on it? I don't believe it was.
Off the top, I don't believe so. I think it was just Coleco.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it was just a Coleco game. All right, so Andy says that this one's an F. Um, I am going to give the Atari 5200 controller as much credit as I can, or as much of a chance as I can, and say that what we're judging is a perfectly, like, all of these controllers, we're judging one that is in perfect original working order.
Yeah, so I'm torn on this one. So the
Happy
issue I
birthday!
have.
I will say
Oh.
happy birthday to Poe's dad.
I, so I have a love hate with the whole 5200. Like, there's a lot of design things with it I just don't get, because they threw the analog controller in there, and it's a non-centering analog controller.
Well, it is
And I
centering. It just doesn't center well. It's supposed to center with that rubber boot, but it did not do it
it,
well.
it did not. Yeah. And again, if you have a perfectly working one, which is a big giant freaking if, um, it was neat. It is neat to play Missile Command with it with the analog stick, but I also would just prefer to use the 5200 trackpad for that. So I where I struggle is like, it did not need to be analog. I mean, most of the games that were on it were also on the Atari
Yeah.
800 that did not use analog in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And again, you're going back to the joystick up at the top instead of more down below with it. Again, the side button thing, just, and again, it's a second generation thing. Like, they thought the buttons needed to be on the side for whatever reason, and I just, especially when the buttons don't replicate. Like, it's one thing if you got a paddle controller or other things where the buttons replicate, but like,
Yeah.
those don't replicate. And so, you have to, the way you got to hold the controller just is not comfortable to try to, I mean, I'm really around the, again, at a minimum, I'm probably at a D with it.
So for me, it's got all the problems of a ColecoVision controller, minus one, which is I would have preferred that joystick at the bottom, but being an analog joystick, I find that the 5200 controller doesn't feel like it's ripping out of my hand all the time. And that analog joystick is awesome for, like, Missile Command. Like, it is my favorite way to play Missile Command is on the 5200, believe it or not. Uh, I would be at the D level for this one. I like it marginally better than a ColecoVision controller. It is certainly not a great controller by any stretch.
Mhm.
Andy believes it goes in an F, but Andy's not on the show. Uh,
I mean,
for me,
it's not, like I said, none.
it's not good.
It's not
It's not good.
good. It's not. But I mean, but it is a little better than the. And again, that's not saying much. But the key is just if it's working.
The saving grace for me is that it's not that stiff. Like it's not a stiff joystick
Right.
that finally like it doesn't feel like it's fighting me except for when it doesn't work. Andy said he played Missile Command with 5200 controller and it sucked. I have had a different experience. I did, by the way, for everybody who wants to potentially play along or maybe make their own list later. It's harder than it looks. I did put a link to this tier ranking template in the description. I spent a lot of time putting all these controllers in. I created this template. So absolutely. And if you're a content creator and you want to do this online, tag me so that I can watch, because I definitely would want to watch. But it sounds like we're putting this at a D. We're being a little generous, maybe, but we're putting it at a D. The Vectrex. Now, so this one is not meant to be held in your hand.
No.
If you hold this like you're holding any of these other controllers so far, save maybe the Magnovox Odyssey one, those 4 buttons in a line are really going to screw you up, and you're probably not going to have great control over the analog joystick. It is meant to sit on the table in front of you with the and play it as if it were an arcade. And that is why it also has a very short tether to the Vectrex system. This is if you OOG Google the Vectrex. It is so, and good job, Mike, for the I will say it's got a small analog joystick. It is it is dainty. A lot of them now have that kind of joystick wobble. I've got one that is in perfect working order. I do not mind. I'm not a huge fan of just 4 buttons in a line.
Yeah,
that's not that bad. It's not that bad. For the games that I especially love to play on the Vectrex, it's a very sensitive joystick. I'll say that as well, but it is it does the job really well. If you've got a working controller, it is very nice to play with.
No, and that's the key. Like if
the ergonomics,
my complaint is the ergonomics of it. Like I said, a straight line, 4 buttons. I mean, I get what they're trying to do because they wanted to make a design that could easily go under, connect into the console itself. So when you're transporting it or whatever, but
that was a really cool thing. It kind of flips in.
Yeah, flips in. But the analog stick on it, if you have a good working one, is so much better than the Atari 5200 one. I mean, it works very, very well. I mean, they did well with the analog part of it. It's just, but I do struggle with the ergonomics of it when you look at the size of the buttons and how close they are together, all in a straight line. That's the only thing that would knock it down a little bit for me. But overall, I mean, it is, a good working controller.
I think it's an excellent one. But like you said, it's not without its flaws.
Right.
Unlike the paddle controller, which has no flaws. I may have overstepped a bit with the S, but I'm happy with it there. I would give this one See, I do think it is a better controller than the CX40 and the Intellivision one. So I would say I'd put it at A.
Hmm.
I think it may be the best second gen controller.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you compare it to second gen, there's no question. I mean, it's definitely the best of all the second gens, without a doubt.
Except
I
for the
mean,
paddle controller, of course.
well, right, but um, I was leaning more at a B, but I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. I'm okay with an A.
Like
I
I'd
will
probably
I will
call it
say
like
though,
a,
I will say though, as I'm looking at some other controllers, like I am starting to question our 5200, but we'll see how it plays out because like yeah,
you're
I
gonna put
don't
other stuff at D that's better.
yeah, like when I'm doing that, I'm like, yeah, should that have been? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but yeah,
Well,
I'm okay with A there.
we'll put it at A. Now we get into what is truly the start of modern controllers. And that is the classic NES.
Mm-hmm.
I did not put the dog bone in here. I actually probably should have put the dog bone in
I was
here.
gonna say I was surprised when I didn't see the dog bone.
But I will say this, and this might be a hot take. I prefer the original to the dog bone by a large margin. A lot of people complain that the edges are square and it's like, oh, it hurts my hands. Well, then don't hold it like a modern controller. You're not supposed to hold an NES gamepad like this. You're supposed to hold it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like like this, right? And to this day, like if I play Super Mario Brothers, I have to play with an original NES controller because even like the SNES, like when you angle it, that button, the um the rotation is just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Uh it just feels wrong. The Dogbone OOG, yeah, look it up. Dogbone NES controller. It looks almost like a Dogbone. It's more rounded.
It's more
Um
similar to us. It's not exact, but it's kind of like the Super Nintendo controller, but it does truly look more like a dog bone, but it is
yeah.
rounded around like a Super Nintendo controller. Um, and then
Yeah.
like more, yeah. I
It's
mean,
like a hybrid between an NES and an SNES controller. Um for me, for the significance of it, for the quality of the button feel.
it's an easy ass.
For
It
okay,
really
thank you.
isn't.
Thank you.
It's an easy ass because the D-pad on it is the best. Out of all of the 8-bit ones that we're going to talk about, and also, and part of that's because they were able to patent that piece, so other companies couldn't replicate that style of D-pad.
And we're going
Um,
to talk about that, especially when we come to some of these.
yeah, and yeah, it's the standard. It's an easy ass.
It set the bar. It absolutely set the bar, and it is durable as all heck. I've seen them chewed apart and they still work. And
Yeah,
if they don't work, they probably just need the little rubber connections cleaned.
right.
Um,
And just as a quick sec, as I'm looking through where we're at, I'm almost thinking we're going to have to do a second episode with this because there's no way we're getting through all these controllers. Like
well,
we're already 44 minutes in and we haven't even gotten through 8-bit.
well, let's get moving.
Yeah. um. So yeah. So
So yeah, it set the bar.
yes, it did.
All right,
Um.
Master System.
Master System.
It
It
tried.
it tried. I'm somewhere around a B, maybe even a C, and it's just because the D-pad really is not great on it.
And it even had that little joystick thing you could screw
Yeah,
into it.
yeah.
It's
The buttons on it are good. And again,
But then if you want
definitely
to pause your game, you got to press the console.
right. And I never did understand that either. But um, I'm somewhere between a B and a C with the Master System one.
Okay, I'll agree with the C side of it. Um,
This one's easy. 7800. It's an F.
oh yeah.
It's an
So the
absolute F.
7800 has the same feel of pulling out of your hand as a ColecoVision controller. Um, again, buttons on the side, but they do different things, which always feels different. Um, I would put that there. And I will say that, like, people are probably like, "Oh my god, I'd rather play with the Master System controller than an Atari joystick," which is probably fair. But also, you're looking at the Master System came out at the same time as this, actually right
Mhm.
after this.
Right.
This is what it was basically replicating, and like that's the best you can do. So that's why I think it belongs at the C. Um, okay.
Oh boy, this one.
Now, this makes the Master System look good, but
Oh, it
the
absolutely does.
7800 joypad, which I will say is better than that Pro Line controller, in my mind.
It is, but I mean, but like, this is where I struggle because, like, I mean, I will say like it is better than a 5200 controller, but it's likely going to fall in the same category as the 5200. At least in my eyes, because again, the D-pad sucks. I mean, again, this is the European controller initially because of the success of the NES and in Europe, the success of the Master System, that they wanted to go with something very similar. It's just the D-pad is the worst out of them all of the 8-bit line of stuff.
I would agree with that, but the D-pad is not what bothers me about it. I'm with
No,
Chris.
it's the button spacing because again, like we talked about in a previous podcast, the way they designed that is literally as if you were going to just lay it on the table and let's rest your two fingers on it to go like this, the play.
And they gave you that little plastic screw-in joystick so you could. I will say, to show me retro, go back and watch. Maybe after the show, go back and watch like the Coleco. Trust me, it deserves to be that way.
Yeah. Well, and again,
I will say that the 5200 is a D minus.
Yeah, like I said, I'm questioning our 5200 after the fact now as we're going further through. I'm wondering if it should be an F.
Yeah,
but...
fine. But I will say this: the ColecoVision controller belongs down there, and I will not hear any arguments to say otherwise.
No, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm putting the European controller probably at a D, and it's just because the button placement for the two buttons, like if you're trying to play like a platforming game or whatever, it's just not good at all. Like when they packaged that in with the 7800 plus and the packing game was Bentley Bear, that did not help in any way, shape, or form. I mean, because to play with that controller with Bentley Bear is probably dang near impossible. I mean,
it's broken.
So,
and we were in fairness to us, we are ranking this based on every controller is in fully working order.
Yes,
and I do have two 5200 controllers that work to this day, and neither have been refurbed, even though I have a refurb kit because I have a third that doesn't. But I do know, like, yeah, I understand why people are like, what the hell? But we tried to give it a shot and it didn't work. It's down an F. Okay. The TurboGrafx 16 controller. This is an interesting one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, again, the D-pad on it's not bad. I mean, it's not NES perfect, but I mean it's still a good D-pad. And again, simple button control, but the fact that they also had built-in turbo, I mean,
it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, for me, this one's an easy A. I mean, for me, but
it's right up there. It's my only problem. Well, I'm not even sure I'd call it a problem. No, I'm with you. It's a solid D-pad. It's not the best. But it is better than the Master System. It feels good. It's comparable almost to like a Genesis D-pad in that way. The built-in turbo really escalates it. Otherwise, I probably would have put it at a B. It's I'm happy with it at an A. Sega Genesis. So this is the original model Sega Genesis. This is the one that I'm nostalgic for. Um, so the positives. It's got it advertised. Oh, it's got 3 buttons, but it has the exact same amount of buttons as an original NES controller because of select and start, and this only has the select or the start button. The D-pad. So there are 2 camps on this. I am a Nintendo D-pad kind of guy. I like the precision, but also I like to play platformers. If you are playing shooters, which the Genesis was known for, or you are playing tournament fighters like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, having that more complete rounded disc makes those sweeping moves easier on your thumb. So there are definitely different camps on that. I happen to be on the Nintendo side on that one, but I appreciate what that D-pad was trying to do, and it is very good for what it does. It is a little big. I remember when the Genesis came out, they were trying to be the more grown-up system, and I guess they thought making a bigger controller was part of that. It worked on me when I was a kid. I didn't own one. My cousins had one. Some of my friends had one. It's a solid controller. I'm not sure necessarily. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about it. I'm not quite sure where I want to put it though.
Yeah. So whenever I like the Sega Genesis controller a lot. I like the ergonomics a little bit with it. Now, I will say when we start talking about another controller, I think it might be a little better, but I do like the angled the buttons a little because again, the way you held it just felt right having that. And they were little bigger action buttons compared to what we were used to with like the 8-bit line. And it was a good D-pad. Now, again, I do still feel the Nintendo D-pad, like you, is better, but in many cases it did work well for the console. But we also got to remember we have the 6-button Genesis controller as well. So, and I think based on that, I would probably put the Genesis 3-button at an A.
I think I agree with you. Now, Tofu said something. Now, Tofu missed the start of the show where we talked about this. Mike is showing recency bias. Controllers should be evaluated at the time, not from modern perspective. And if we broke up this up into generations, absolutely we'd do that. But we're ranking all of them, so recency bias is required. I'm with you. I think the Genesis controller can go in an A pretty comfortably. It definitely did the job. It's certainly not without some flaws, but I do like it. And if we're talking nostalgia, that's the one I have zero nostalgia for the 6-button controller. I never played Genesis with a 6-button controller. Tofu just thought he'd harass me. But I appreciate him popping in anyway. And Andy says he'd go bonkers if he had to play Sonic the Hedgehog with a joystick. That would just be wrong. That would be wrong. And then, of course, the Sega Genesis, the big competitor to the Sega Genesis, let's say it that way, is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES. This controller has 4 face buttons, plus the select start, plus the D-pad, and now we have shoulder buttons for the first time.
Yeah.
Really, and like when we get to the PlayStation, I'll talk about this too, but like this set a tone. And that 4 face button, every controller nowadays uses that layout.
Well, and for good reason, because where I would say the NES,
we're trying to balance the two. It's not easy. Absolutely, go to the description and try to do it yourself.
So I mean, the Super Nintendo, again, the way you hold it was really good, and having the shoulder buttons was perfectly placed. And what I like the most about the Super Nintendo, which is where I thought was maybe a flaw in some ways, like if I had to critique any of the 2-button 8-bit controllers, was because they did go with a straight button alignment, where when they changed up, instead of being B and A to Y and B, to me that's the more natural approach whenever you're using your thumb with a controller. And because of that, I mean, for me, again, the Super Nintendo one is easily an S for me. And again, it's just
zero argument from me.
I mean, because again, that perfect D-pad and the ergonomics of just the action buttons, so much better in my opinion. But
and then we have the Sega Genesis 6-button controller. 6-button controller, the 6-button controller. It's smaller than the original Genesis controller. It has a 6 buttons, which is a direct response to the fighting games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Like you've got your kick, all 3 kicks and all 3 punches now. I have, and Crispy is very relieved that we put Super Nintendo at S. Yeah, it's an absolute easy S.
Yes.
And yes, this was a later the later release. And nobody told you because you didn't ask. I have zero nostalgia for it. I didn't play it as a kid. It actually kind of bothers me. Like I do have the I think they're like the Crix ones, like they're the Bluetooth ones to play on my analog Genesis. And it bothers me that they don't have the original 3-button option. That's just all the 6-button. But it is a superior controller to the 6-button.
It is.
Or the 3-button.
The 3-button. Yeah. And again, just the ergonomics of it. I mean, it's just
good.
It's really good. Like again, to me, that's with us putting the 3-button at an A, the 6-button's an S.
We kind of set ourselves up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an excellent controller. I just have zero nostalgic. Yeah, we didn't include the arcade stick. We can only rank so many controllers.
Right.
I'm going to start with this one. The original Jaguar, Atari sticking to the phone, the number pad, which is actually pretty decent for some games. Like, because now you're starting to get into like Doom, Alien versus Predator, and you're able to select weapons with that. I do like that. You don't have to cycle through weapons with a single button push. But the ergonomics of the whole thing are not great. This thing is a beast. I do think that a huge improvement was made with the Pro controller because it added those shoulder buttons, which are awesome. And again, it gave you the 6 buttons because the Jaguar fighting games are so great that you need 6 buttons to play those. That was sarcasm, by the way. It's not a terrible controller by any stretch, but it is not a great controller by any stretch, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and he's going to be upset at me because he's putting everything at an S now.
Yeah, these are definitely not S controllers. But again, they get a lot of flack. But once you actually use them, it's not bad. And I think it helps like the angle at the top, like when you're holding it, the angle kind of helps that a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, why they did the number pad is beyond me, other than from what I've read, I believe they thought there was going to be online access to the console. So, this would have been back during like the AOL period and stuff. So, they felt you needed that keypad to help get online. I mean, I struggle because there's also 2 variations, and there is some distinct differences between the variations when it
Yeah.
comes to the D-pad, because the D-pad's not great.
It also
It
doesn't suck.
it doesn't suck, but it's not great either. I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. Personally, from my own use case, I'm leaning at a C.
I would say I would go C for this one, and I'd go B for the Pro Controller. Because those shoulder buttons make a huge difference, and it actually feels better when there's something to do up there.
Yeah, the only thing I mean, the thing is just, I guess, quick history lesson. The 6-button, even though it's more buttons on it, it's technically the same buttons, because
No, I understand.
When they made those, they just pretty much mapped the keypad keys to those other buttons. But
and it is so much nicer to not have to do this.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the shoulder buttons. They're mapped to keypads.
Yeah.
Those
all those additional buttons are just keypad mappings. So
but that is why I rank it higher.
Yeah. And again, I'll go with it only because I've never used a 6-button one.
Andy is very upset. But let's go with a little levity. Zenbloke would prefer if we said Jaguar. He's from the UK. Whereas I say Jaguar, and Brian sometimes
I just say Jag.
Definitely
I just say Jag.
Yeah, because he and Retro Bliss say Jaguar, which is just absolutely wrong. And OG, the Atari Lynx is a handheld, so no dedicated controller there. Raza hates the 3-button Sega Genesis. That's the one I'm so nostalgic for. And there you go. Yeah, okay, he figured that out. This is incredibly hard to rank. Crispy, I would love if on the Bro Show one day you and Pierre did this list. Link is in the description. Okay. The CDI. So this is so bad that I just put them all together. This one you could probably barely see if you're watching. The one that almost looks like a baton with the disc on the side. Yeah, I didn't want to say the word, Brian. Is the absolute worst, and the others aren't good.
Throw them down.
What? Thank you. That's what I was leaning towards.
We're on a time crunch. Let's just throw those down.
CDI belongs at an F. Okay, so we have 3 Neo Geo controllers here. We've got the AES, we've got the Neo Geo CD joystick, and then we have the Neo Geo CD gamepad. We've talked a little about these when we were talking about the AES, but the large one that came with the AES, it's nice. It's meant to sit on the table in front of you or on your lap. It's got a fantastic joystick. I always feel like my hand has to be like almost at a right angle to get those buttons properly. It feels weird to me. My favorite is actually the pill joystick, I think they call it, which is for the Neo Geo CD, because those buttons are they feel much more natural. And I actually really like the controller because it's got micro switches even in that D-pad. It's similar to, for those of you who haven't used it, it's very similar to the 3DS joystick, where you have kind of this bit that moves around within a sphere.
But it's joystick clicky. That's the difference.
But it's joystick clicky with the micro switches. So we can kind of do all 3 of these together. Neo
Yeah.
Geo is obviously a legendary system, but
Mm-hmm.
my least favorite of this three is the most premium product.
Mm-hmm. And I would agree with you. Like overall, like where I'm impressed with the Neo Geo. Now, granted, the Neo Geo was astronomically stupid expensive. Well, it still is, but I mean, but for its time, it was really astronomically stupid expensive. But I really got to give them kudos for wanting to really bring a true arcade
Yeah.
experience to home. And they gave you micro switch joysticks where, because again, a lot of people like the NES Advantage and some others, but none of those were micro switch. And I mean, they were just really think of having your normal D-pad and just putting it on the table and just using the joystick to go over it. So I mean, the micro switch stuff I think was awesome, and no other first party did that after them. I mean, that I can remember. So I agree. The ergonomics on the original, I didn't quite understand, especially when you played it in the arcade and they had it one way, and
Yeah.
on they did a completely different on this. Um, I'm with you. The middle one, the bean, is definitely like the better ergonomics of it. I think it was a refinement that really should have been there from the beginning. And the D-pad, the controller. I mean that's an easy one S for me on the controller because
I
again,
love the controller.
I mean the buttons feel great, and that just having that micro switch. I don't want to say D-pad because it's not really a D-pad,
It's
but
a hybrid joystick D-pad
yeah,
thingy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, if you ever played the Neo Geo Pocket, it's pretty much the same thing, and it's just it's so good. And I would almost put the bean at an S as well, because I really think it's great that they um
And it
put
is,
the
in
switch.
fairness, Neo Geo getting two S's, because I don't disagree again. In fairness, they are kind of cheating with having like full premium micro switch joysticks, arcade style joysticks.
Right.
Um,
And I think the other
but
one, yeah.
yeah,
I
where
mean,
would you think?
I feel like it's somewhere within an A and a B. I'm kind of leaning a little more toward okay.
If you say um oh thanks for popping in, Raz, I appreciate it. If you say between an A and a B, and I already have one in my head, I'm just going to drop it in that one. I put it a B, and it is like, I want to love it because it is such a premium product, and it feel like it's got a weight to it and
Yeah,
everything. But then it's just not comfortable to play.
right.
Um, 3DO. So 3DO, the example that we have here, it's kind of sort of like a 3-button Genesis controller, but not as good.
Yeah. And I never will
It doesn't,
understand it.
it's not terrible by any stretch.
It's not. It's just it's the stupidest design in the world. Like why who in their right mind at the time this was released thought let's daisy chain controllers for multiplayer games, because that makes a
That is
whole heck of a lot of
dumb.
sense.
That is
Let's put
dumb.
one controller port on the console and we'll add the additional controller ports on the controller itself, the daisy chain, because I don't know who
Are we
thought.
gonna? Okay, so I was unsure whether or not that should count towards the tier ranking here. It's sounding to me like you think it should.
I think it
How
should
it
a little.
connects.
I think it should a
If that
little.
is the case, that is, I agree with you, one of the dumbest ideas. Like, just sell a multi-tap or something. Like, have one
Right.
controller port on the system, and have, if you want
Yeah.
to play 2-player, you have to buy this extra thing. Because now, like, you're on one end of the couch, your brother's on the other end of the couch, and he goes like this,
Right.
and your controller disappears out of your hand.
Yeah. It's
In which
stupidest thing
case,
ever.
I would say it gets a D if we're including that.
I'm good with that.
Otherwise, I would say it gets a C. Like, the actual controller itself isn't that
No, I
bad.
would have rated the controller itself a C for just the actual feel of it and stuff, but that's just such. I just because I'm trying to think when that was even released. It was like what 95 something or 96 somewhere around there. I think right.
It was just before the PlayStation, if I'm not mistaken.
And the PlayStation would have been 95. So
95. So
yeah.
and I think it was like earlier the same. It wasn't a long time before the PlayStation.
Yeah. Okay. So 3DO came out October of 93. And again, it's just.
Wow. Okay. Earlier than I thought.
So in 1993, why would you think it was smart to daisy chain controllers? I just, like I said,
maybe Crispies here, like they didn't want all those cords going, maybe just one big long cord wrapping around the room. It's pretty dumb though.
Just like you said, do a multi-tap. Like with the, I mean, again, I don't like that the TurboGrafx was just one port, but at least they had a multi-tap. I mean, which made a lot more sense. But
yeah. Okay, so PlayStation hits the market, and PlayStation does not, when it launches, it does not have the DualShock controller. It has basically, I almost like to call it the dog bone Super Nintendo controller, which makes sense that they would emulate the Super Nintendo controller because the PlayStation exists because they were working with Nintendo on a CD addition to the Super Nintendo. Nintendo screwed that up royally. Ended up having a Mario game and a couple Zelda games on the CDI, which was another big screw up royally. Check our D tier. But it's basically a Super Nintendo with handles, extra shoulder buttons, and a crappier D-pad. This first iteration of the PlayStation controller did not interest me when it first came out. To the point that I got a Nintendo 64, and then later I bought a PlayStation. I bought that one. I bought the PlayStation after the DualShock had come out, and I bought it for Metal Gear Solid, and I was not disappointed. I don't like this controller.
I don't either. I mean, like it was nice having the second set of shoulder buttons, but which obviously started to become more of a standard, later on with everything. But the D-pad just killed it. That D-pad
it's 4 buttons. Yeah. I've never liked it. And now that patent has expired, Sony is just being obstinate, not putting a better D-pad on their controllers. Not that you really use the D-pad anymore, but I'm sorry, we're sticking with them. We're going to the Switch 2 and we're going to the major players. Zen loved it back in 95. For me,
it was just, like I said, to me, it's just an okay controller. I mean,
yeah, which for me puts it at like the C.
Yeah, I'm good with C on that one. Because when we talk about the next two, I like those a lot more than I do that one.
Yeah. It was an uninspiring start, but then PlayStation obviously created a trend that lasted. The original Sega Saturn controller and the second model Sega Saturn controller.
So for me, both are good. There's definitely one I think's better. And for me, the better one is the second version, because what I don't
totally agree.
Because again, when they did so well with the 6-button Genesis controller,
and then they tried to, you know what they did? They tried to make it look futuristic,
right?
And it did. The first Saturn controller looks cooler than the second one. The second one feels better in the hand and plays better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, the first gen one's probably a B, and
I'll give you that.
The second one there, I mean, again, I would put that up. I mean, it's definitely an A, but I even question if it's not an S, because again, the ergonomics of it is so good, and it plays so well with stuff.
I'm gonna do Sega fans a prop because you're in between them, and I'm gonna put it in an S. But I'm doing that because I am probably going to disappoint Sega fans very much with this 3D controller.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, I struggle with this next one because, you know, and I'm trying to remember, Knights is really the only game that used it, right? I don't think we ever got anything else that utilized it.
I think there's some homebrews that use it. There might be another 1 or 2 games in the original library that use it. But
Now,
it's not a great thumbstick. There's only the one. And then what idiot was like, you know what would make for a cool controller? A circle with handles. And not only that, I mean, there are 2 other controllers on this list where they're like, you know what, that was a good idea. Let's make a modification of that.
Right.
It's, you know what, despite that, it is surprisingly kind of comfortable because of the way those handles are put there. But for me, that controller is a C. I know I will probably offend people. If you say it's a B, I'd put it at a B. But I am not a huge fan of the 3D Saturn controller.
I mean,
it is absolutely a must for Knights.
Yes.
But and he says it works great for other games, and that may be the case. But like, if I'm playing other games, I want to use that second gen Saturn controller, the other one.
Well, right. I mean, and that's it. Like I didn't mind the 3D stick with it, but yeah, it's so bulky, and it did not need to be that bulky, and just the placement for the rest of it just doesn't.
You are breaking Andy's heart in this episode.
But it's not. Again, it looks atrocious, but it's not. When you do,
it doesn't feel as bad as it looks.
It doesn't feel as bad as it looks. So because of that, I think I would go a B on that one.
You'd go B?
I think I'd go B on that one.
I'll give you B. So we can go easy on the lube, Andy. Okay, now this is the one. It says the big one is coming. The N64.
Oh boy.
This one, I don't think any controller can divide a community as much as the Nintendo 64 controller. If you don't know how to hold it, you could be forgiven for being like, what the heck am I supposed to do here? I always played left hand on the center, right hand on the right. Because obviously I played loads of GoldenEye, I played loads of like tons of different games on this. Like, we had a Nintendo 64 before I had a PlayStation. And because I have 5 younger brothers, we were always playing 4-player games. So Nintendo 64, even after we got the PlayStation, we played a lot of it. We got very comfortable with it. It has its flaws. It has significant flaws. First of all, that joystick, the analog movement in it is probably unmatched for any joystick, any analog joystick before or since. It's fragile. It's plastic, so it breaks. But and because it's plastic, like, I remember you'd get big blisters on your thumb after playing a long time. I love the trigger in the center there. That trigger, especially for GoldenEye, there's nothing more satisfying than shooting your brother with an actual trigger. So there's lots to love there. The memory card pack going right into the controller, that was a cool thing. The rumble pack, it made it very heavy. There are so many flaws to this, but at the same time, it somehow works.
Right.
And this was the first time that I remember thinking, hey, this is how 3D is supposed to be controlled until we get to that next controller. Then that's how 3D is really supposed to be controlled. So it is an anomaly. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I'm with you. Like, before we had the next controller coming up, I mean, when you were playing GoldenEye, Turok, games like that, like, holding it left hand and on the middle area, right? It worked well. Like, for all intents and purposes, it probably shouldn't have, but it did. And then again, Mario 64, just the sense, like, it just worked so well for
worked
that.
Perfectly.
I mean,
and it was designed, Mario 64 in particular, but Mario Kart 64.
I mean, would I have preferred a better layout? Absolutely, but
I will say,
work.
because I think he's getting upset here. You kind of had to be there at the time.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say, because of others we're talking about, I would put the N64 one at probably a B.
I think I agree with you. It is certainly not A tier. It is certainly not S tier, but I do like it more than all those on the C tier.
And again, when you look at it, I mean, you just got to actually use it. Like, the games that used, the analog stick, which was most of them, the way they did the controls, it just worked. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, it shouldn't have, but it did. So,
and then, Nintendo, and Crispy said this, Nintendo innovates and then somebody else perfects it, unless it's a D-pad. The DualShock controller comes out. And that's when we were all kind of like, oh, that's how 3D games should be played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm an A on that one, because I do agree with you.
Oh, you're an A.
Well,
because I'm including also, like, this is the one that taught us what it should be like. Yeah. Much like the NES controller, right? For me, I'm an S on the on the original DualShock.
See, the only reason why is A, because when we get to a couple others, I think they did it better. But
I mean, you look at. So, yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, anybody who's watched the show knows I am far more in favor of the offset sticks. But at the time, like, it was so good that they basically did not change it for the next generation.
I mean, I'm okay with it. If you want to put it to S, I'm good with it.
Okay. You sound resigned.
Well, I also know we got to get through the rest of these too. So
yeah, we're doing okay, buddy. It's all right.
Are we? We're an hour and 23 in, and we still got how many more?
Oh, come on. We can treat the folks with a treat the folks with a 2-hour episode. Okay. So after we're taught, yes, dual thumbsticks is the way to go. Dreamcast. It's kind of going for the circle thing again. It's a big, beefy controller. The VMU is cool, but one thumbstick. And that is my biggest drawback with it. Well, the games, now I will say, the Dreamcast as a system and that game library, albeit small, is awesome.
Yes.
I love the Dreamcast. The controller is probably its weakest point, I think.
Yeah, like I said, they were a little innovative with the VMUs and stuff, but just the fact that, again, one analog stick, the controller was nearly impossible to use for fighting games, which was a big part of the library for the Dreamcast. I mean, you had to go buy literally a third party, I think Capcom made it, 6-button, standard style controller with it. And again, the fact that it was trigger buttons at the top, not just digital shoulder buttons, again, which was good in some aspects, but also bad And then the fact that the cord, like it was just mentioned,
Poe
with the cord
mentions,
there,
yeah.
the fact that you had to loop it back, like why? Like that was so silly. Again, as much as I love the Dreamcast itself, I was not a fan of the original controller. Like everything I had from like third parties and stuff made it a much better experience. And you know, for that, I would honestly probably put the Dreamcast at a D.
Wow, that low. I was thinking C.
I mean, I'm okay with C. I guess, and again, where I have it was because I bought it launch day, and I had Marvel versus Capcom come, and I literally could not play that game with that controller at all. Now, maybe others could. I could not play that game without that. And then I had to import from Japan the 6-button controller to just finally be able to play Marvel versus Capcom on the console. So again, maybe I'm being a little harsh, but I'm okay with C.
I think you are being a little too harsh. I was between a C and a B, honestly. Somebody's typing. All I hear, it sounds like dun 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 dun. Because like honestly, I like it better than the 3D controller. Or do I? No, I'll put it the C. The VMU was innovative, but like putting the cord at the bottom, single joystick after we already learned that dual joystick is what the way to go. That square, if you I don't know which square you're referring to. There are several squares here. You'll have to watch back and see when we put it on. Yeah, I'm fine with it at C. I'm between a C and a B. It does. I will admit that the Dreamcast controller, compared to some other controllers, it also kind of feels cheap to me. It's got kind of more of that plasticky feel, and I'm going to really piss off people when we get to the GameCube controller because I feel the same about that. But let's talk about the PlayStation 2 DualShock.
I mean, it's the same. It's an S. It's the exact same controller.
But they painted it black.
Yeah,
I agree. Sorry, Zen, it's a little downhill from there for me. So we have got the Duke.
Yeah.
So the original Xbox, when it first came out, I guess they really just wanted their logo massive. But this, like the controller, I have big hands, so that's good. It never bothered me. But this controller is ginormous. It definitely takes from the Sega 3D controller and the Dreamcast controller from that lineage, but damn, it's just too big. And it's bulky.
Yeah.
It's got like the dual memory card area.
And the button layout, I just don't think's great.
The button layout I thought was more or less fine, but it's also just very spread out because it's so big.
Right.
And so somebody came in earlier and was like, what the hell is the 5200 controller doing at a D? We had it at D, and we're like, yeah, we kind of agree based on it. So, man, I've put the link in the description to this tier ranking thing. You guys can go and do your own. What are your thoughts on the Duke?
I mean, I don't know. I like you said, for myself, I didn't feel like it was bad. Like in the sense of holding it, I wasn't a fan of the button layout. Like
especially if you're a kid trying to reach those black and white.
Well, and that's what
again,
I mean.
I have big hands. I had no problem.
I mean, and at the end, and here's where it's bad, I guess. And maybe we should bump the Dreamcast up. I like the Dreamcast controller more than I do the Duke.
I'm the opposite. I prefer the Duke.
Do you prefer the Duke?
Yeah. But for me, I'd put it on the same level.
Yeah.
See, you and Zen would get along, Game Freak, because I cannot, because I have big hands, the side by side analog joysticks, especially when you start to get lazy, my hands cramp up when I play PlayStation. Whereas here, I can lay it out, and even when my hands are getting lazy, I can put the ball on my thumbs on both sticks, and they never touch each other. So I am the complete opposite. But maybe I just have mammoth hands. I don't think I have mammoth hands, but I have big hands. So the GameCube. I know Nintendo made this big. He enjoys taking a good Duke. I know Nintendo was all about this. Hey, there's a go button, and like they were trying to experiment with the buttons. They went with the offset analog sticks, which I like, but the second stick is like this little nub.
Yeah, I know people love this thing for Smash Brothers.
Triggers, yes, but and the triggers feel so bad. Like they almost feel like you're pulling the trigger on a NES zapper, like ta-ting, 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 and the controller is just, it feels so cheap to me. I do not like the GameCube controller. I know that's a hot take.
No, and I know people are like, I don't like it either. I mean, it worked, but to the points that you're saying, like when you had the other controllers that we had at that point, it's just like, this just felt like we're going to do this to be different, just to be different. And I don't know, again, I know people that play Smash Brothers love this thing. I just, it is not, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, now again, when I look at what we have in D's and F's, is it better than those? Yeah, I would say so. But I mean, I'm kind of leaning at C with it, because I don't think it's as good as the N64 controller.
And I think that is probably going to be the biggest hot take here, but I agree with you. I'd rather play with an N64 controller.
Right.
It feels better. And then Xbox really starts the template for what all of their controllers are going to be. See there, Crispy, see, we knew that, that this one would be a controversial one. It's not my fault that we both don't like the GameCube controller. If he had fought for it, it would have gone up to a B. But he feels the same way I do. I don't like that controller. It feels cheap. Yeah, we got people.
Like I said, I knew because
that's okay.
Yeah.
Have I ever shied away from making people butt hurt? Jeremiah Thomas, Night Driver is a 4 out of 10 on the 2600. Arcade, it's higher. But then Xbox got their crap together and made the S controller.
Kind of.
I like the S controller.
It's better than the Duke.
It's a heck of a lot better than the Duke.
But again, I do not comprehend the button layout. And if you're trying to play a fighting game, like, go ahead and try to play Street Fighter with that and see how that works.
I don't like fighting games, so it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, at the time, though, that was the big thing to do. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's better than the Duke. So I guess with that said, I'm okay with the B. But I wouldn't go any higher than a B right now with it, personally.
Okay. I played a lot. I honestly, I'd probably put it in an A. But I'll give you a B on it. I'll give you a B because we're going to come to some other controllers that I'm going to insist go higher than people in the chat anyway want them to go. The Wavebird. It's a GameCube controller, but it feels a little better quality.
Yeah.
It's got more weight to it. I think it feels less hollow.
Well, and then just the wireless capability. It was one of the better wireless controllers at the time that we had. You know, I mean, because I know Logitech tried a couple different ones, and but that was definitely the better. I'm okay with that one being a B.
Yeah, I think it's a better version of the GameCube controller. It feels less cheap, and maybe that's just a weight thing. But I think the biggest thing is like it doesn't feel as hollow. The GameCube controller, for whatever reason, it just really felt hollow to me. Xbox 360, 360.
So again, this one's tough because I considered the 360 probably one of the best setup control. Now, granted, we'll get into the other Xbox ones, but I think this was kind of the gold standard, in my opinion, for a good while. I mean,
it had one flaw for me, which is that D-pad, because it had to be extended to get down, which is the one thing that drops it. So I'm going to skip ahead here just to say, like, I think they perfected it with the next generation, because
I agree, and I do agree with that.
And I will like, no word of a lie, this generation and this generation, which is basically identical, I think is video game controller perfection.
Yeah,
that's what I use day to day.
So I say we put the 360 at an A, and I think
I would agree with that.
And I think we go ahead and move the other Xbox ones up the S, because I do think that
if you agree, then I am happy to do that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, because I do feel they, and again, I know it's all personal preference. I like the analog sticks in the style of the Xbox. I don't necessarily like them both right next to each other. Again, that's personal preference.
So we're going to get to another really divisive one, which is the Wii remote and nunchuck, or the Wiimote. Casey, very happy to hear that word. For games that, like, playing Mario Galaxy feels really, really good.
Right.
But for so many other games, you just want a regular controller.
Well, that's why they made those other pieces with it.
Yes, and we're going to talk about those.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about what the core style of game was meant to be for the Wii, I think it's a very good controller for what the intended purpose of the console was. So, now, granted, you're right. Like, playing platformers, things like that. Yeah, I mean, or 2D platformers, different things from like the virtual console. Yeah, that wasn't the ideal controller to be using, but with what they were wanting to achieve with that console, I think the Wiimote worked really well. And with that, I mean, I would say because of that, I think the Wiimote is an A. And again, it's just because of the style of games that console brought to folks.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the games where you're just sitting doing this, right? But there were, like, I remember playing Twilight Princess and stuff, and you just kind of sit with your hands beside you on either side, and it does work really well. Again, you have an issue where you don't have the two thumbsticks, but they also kind of made up with that with the pointing. There are some games that I really hate for it, and there are other games that I think it works really well for. CK, I did see that message, and I did make a comment about it at the start of the show. We are just doing first party. As you can see, we've already gone really long, and we're just trying to finish the home stretch. We could not include it, and I don't have any experience with those controllers, so I can't really speak to them. But absolutely, I did mention that at the start. I'll give you the A. In some circumstances, in other circumstances, this thing was a goddamn F.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But I mean, who doesn't? I love me some Wii tennis. I love me a whole pile of things. It was cool, like when I was playing with my kids, being able to put the Wii remote into the little steering wheel and playing Mario Kart with them. They loved that. So I mean, I have to kind of give it to them for that. This version of the quote unquote pro controller, or the classic controller, I think it was called.
I did not like that version.
No, and the thumbsticks are so damn close together.
Yeah.
I really didn't like this. I love the idea of it. But for me, I'd put it at a D.
I'm okay with that. Because the next one is a much better one. I mean, that one is easily an A, is to me, easily.
Yeah, but, again,
I mean,
I'm not a huge
analog,
fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like a B plus, A minus for me.
Mm-hmm.
You said A?
I said A just because, again, D-pad's good, the button arrangement's good.
Oh, yeah, the D-pad is like the Nintendo D-pads.
Right.
They're premium.
And it gave you those extra shoulder buttons and stuff for everything. So,
yeah, fair enough. Now we get to the PlayStation 3, and this is where I start to get a little, like, they're basically like they have the little flippers. They don't have the triggers yet, and they've never had the triggers, which drives me nuts. The triggers are awesome. Give us triggers. But it's basically the DualShock again with just very minor. Like it's wireless now, which is cool. But for me, this is when I was like, I actually kind of left Sony systems at this point. Because like I was a big fan of the PS1, a big fan of the PS2, and then PS3, it's like, that's when I really started noticing, like, I don't like this anymore. It's getting old. We need to move on from this. And according to the chat, there are several people in the chat who have said, like, I hate the offset sticks. But I'm really sorry it's our show when we both like the offset sticks. Where would you put the PS3 controller?
Well, here's the problem. What's really different with it? You know, I mean, again, if we're already saying
it's got the really late, like they extended the second bumper buttons, the bumper buttons to have like this kind of pseudo trigger thing to them, but
I mean, they just to me they just I don't think they really did anything more other than, hey, they're wireless. I mean, so, but that I don't know. I mean, I guess you can put it at an A, but I mean, they're really not any different than
no. So I would put it at a B, and the reason I put it at a B and not an A, like, yes, it's better. Like, I mean, the D-pad sucks. The D-pad on PlayStation controllers always has sucked. But like at this point, like we're 3 generations in now, and you're just doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, you gotta innovate. Yeah, but at this point, like everybody else is doing it better.
Right.
And that's my thing.
I get that.
And again, if you loved the console, I'm sure that will skew. Yeah, but you know what? The S's are determined, like they're also determined on when they came out. So no, an S from like 20 years before this one came out is not an S 20 years later. And again, that's that weird balance that we have to do. Okay, so I know we've upset Zenbloke and some other people. But like let me put it this way. If you released a new system in 2000 with an NES controller, would you mark that as an S? No, of course you wouldn't. But a system coming out in 1985 with that controller gets an S. If that makes sense. And again, we're going to disagree because we feel different about the sticks, but that is totally cool. Like I said, if any of you guys, especially you other content creators, Game On Forever is a great channel. I don't get to catch him live, unfortunately, because he goes live before our show. But you should check him out. The link to this tier list that I made is in the description. And if you guys want to do this on your own shows, just tag me so I can make sure I watch. Okay. The Wii U big ass control. I did not put the the remote and nunchuck back in, even though the Wii U used
They're
them. They
the
used the
same.
one that had the expanded thing.
Yeah.
But the big control pad, kind of a cool idea, felt like more of a toy to me.
Yeah, I didn't, and again, I didn't like the positioning of both, where they put both analog sticks. And the issue is the wireless play with it. You know, tried it a few times. I mean, you got it a little. I mean, you couldn't get that far away from your console before it really started to putter. And on top of it, the screen, like the quality image you had playing in that mode wasn't the greatest, either. Now, with that said, I know that was pretty much the segue to the Nintendo Switch, which we all know is a heck of a much better product.
But it is a transition console,
it's a transition console. I feel like a C. I mean, because there was some good things with it.
I feel good at it. Yeah, I feel good with it at a C. And I will say, Zenbloke, you don't have to do the whole list. You can start wherever you want to start and just do, like, it's your content. The whole list is there, but if you want to start with, like, the original PlayStation, you're free to do that. And Jeremiah, we have mentioned you many, many times. Trust me, there's people coming in arguing that that particularly these two controllers should be all over the place. So you can go back and watch and be incensed at all that. However, the Wii U Pro controller, now, it feels to me like it just wanted to say, listen, I'm not an Xbox controller. See, my other control thumbstick is up here.
Mm-hmm.
And it always felt weird because I was playing this at the same time that I was playing my Xbox and my PS3 slash PS4. And just the one thing that is consistent between the PlayStation and the Xbox controllers is that buttons are above the thumbstick. So it is kind of a muscle memory thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now when you go to the Wii U for their Pro controller, the buttons are below the thumbstick. And I remember that screwed me up more times than one. What are your thoughts on the Wii U Pro controller? It's a huge step up from, well, and this is why, like, I want to put this down at B. Because I don't think the Wii U Pro controller is anywhere near an S.
No.
But it is, in my opinion, a lot better than the Wii Pro controller. What are your thoughts on it?
Again, to the point you said, like, it's just having both analog sticks at the top when you got your buttons at the bottom is literally kind of what made it seem weird for me. Kind of like the same thing with the pad. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because I feel like it's a B personally, but I mean, again, it's all personal preference.
And I don't have I honestly don't have a problem with it at a B. Like, it feels good. It's good build quality.
Yes.
Like, it's a nice feeling controller, but it does screw you up with the thumbstick being up there. I'm happy with that at a B, but I don't feel like this can go above it.
Mm-hmm.
Can we put that at a B?
That's fine.
Okay. We're friends again.
Nice, Jeremiah.
like we were. Okay. Okay. That's fair. You got your fanboy in the chat. You could go back and be brokenhearted, but that's okay. No, I don't like the controllers you see down here are all we have left. So PlayStation 4. They did modernize it a bit from what they had been doing the last 3 generations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the touchpad. like at all.
Now, see, I actually liked the concept of the
Okay.
touchpad.
I like the concept of it. I just don't.
Now, again, did it work for everything? No, but for the stuff that it kind of did utilize it, I did like it. And I will say, because prior to having like my gaming PC, I played Final Fantasy 14 on the PlayStation, and having that trackpad piece up top was very nice for that game. Now, granted, that's
maybe
just one
now
example.
in fairness, in fairness, my PlayStation 4 and like Obsidian did mention, yes, I didn't put VR controllers in here, and that type of stuff. Like theoretically, I could put the Kinect in here as well, although that wouldn't rake particularly high. In fairness, my PlayStation 4 very quickly just turned into a VR box because basically, like, I didn't have an interest in any of the exclusive releases, and all the multi releases I played on my Xbox because I like the controller better.
I'm an A with this one. Again, I prefer my analog sticks the Xbox way, but the PlayStation 4 is probably my favorite of all the PlayStation controllers.
Okay.
I like it at an A.
I don't have a problem with that. Like I said, like the PlayStation controllers are good. I don't mean to offend Sony guys. Although Game Freak absolutely had the right idea. Like he knows. I'm not poo-pooing. I just prefer it the other way. I'm not a fanboy of either Microsoft or Sony. But yeah, my big thing, like I just focus on the inline sticks, and I don't like that. I wish there was a different option for PlayStation. Now we come to the original Switch Joy-Cons, specifically the Joy-Cons, not playing with it in your hand as the total system. Just you're playing with the Joy-Cons because it was designed to do that. Now, my kids like this. My kids have smaller hands than I do, and I do not like this. Are you getting in trouble because we're late?
But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, because like I mean
I will just say to Obsidian, Steam is not a console. It's a computer platform. It's getting towards console, but there are no Steam controllers on here. Sorry.
No, I would say, just for the sake of time here, I would put the Joy-Cons at a B, because there is a lot of good things about them.
Again, you could do like
right. But again, they are tiny. Like I preferred the Wiimote when playing like Mario Kart, like using those sideways. I mean, it's doable, but it doesn't feel as nice as it did with the Wiimotes for me. So I give those a B. Now the next one, I would put that up at S. Personally.
The only drawback, and Nintendo doesn't seem to get this memo. Xbox perfected it with the analog trigger, and the triggers on the Pro controllers for the Switch are buttons.
Yes, they are. They are. I mean,
it's still an awesome controller.
Yeah,
I do like it, and it has the Nintendo D-pad, which I'll give you the yes. I'll give you the yes for the Nintendo D-pad.
And honestly, with the Switch 2 one, there's really no difference with there's very little difference with the Pro. I mean,
it's got the extra little buttons on the back that I don't use.
Right.
Same with, like, I didn't include the Xbox Elite controller that has those. I don't use those. I'm not nearly as cool of a gamer to do that. PlayStation 5 controller. Now, there have been people in the chat who have already said that this is their favorite controller of all time. It's all right, but it's got the inline sticks. I don't like the inline sticks.
Right. Well, and again, it's just, the D-pad's a little better, but it's still a PlayStation D-pad. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm at probably a B with it. Like, it's definitely
really you're at a B.
The ergonomics of it's not bad. But again, I'm with you though. I'm not a fan of And again, it's truly a personal preference.
It absolutely is.
I prefer the offset analog sticks, and when you're playing a modern console like that, the analog is what you're using for probably like 95% of what you're playing.
I am going to so I am going to go out on a limb here. We have talked a lot about preferring the analog stick, the offset analog sticks, and I definitely do appreciate that. But I do appreciate that people who prefer the inline option have that inline option, and it is a quality controller. So despite the fact that it's our list and we both prefer the offset sticks, I think this belongs at an A.
No, I'm okay with an A, because I mean it is a more smoothed out. You know, when I do think about it more, I mean, compared to the PlayStation, I mean, it is smoothed out better. It's just, I don't know. There was something about the PlayStation 4 personally that I like more than the 5, but I can get that. I can see that.
Fair enough. And yes, I didn't put the Atari VCS on here. If you're talking that joystick, I mean, it's really cool what they tried to do, but I think the classic controller is at best a B. Otherwise, the other
Jeremiah.
otherwise the other one is basically just an Xbox controller. Zen thinks it's fair. Put it at a B. He just wants to go with you. I was going to put it at an A before anybody started talking in the chat, and then he said B, so I had made the argument for it. Like it does. I like it better than a PS4 controller. So I think putting it at that A is fair, and Jeremiah Thomas can just live with that. And then last but not least, because we've already done the Pro controllers, the new Joy-Cons. I like these better because they're bigger. But they're still not the best. They're better than the old Joy-Cons.
I was gonna say there's some improvement to them, but
I like how they clip on better. I was really skeptical about how well they would hold on with the magnets, but they actually hold on very well.
I mean, I'd probably put them at. I mean, it is a better analog stick on them, and yeah, I probably put them at an A. It is definitely an improvement over the Joy-Con, but again, most of the functionality is very similar. It is just
I like them better. I don't like them necessarily as much as most of these other things. Like for me, like this is a real good case for the B plus.
Right.
So if you're upset that this is here and you'd rather have it here, imagine it here. But Brian said A, and I don't want Jeremiah Thomas to yell at me anymore, so we're going to put it at A.
Well, again, it is an improvement over the original. I mean, again, many of the things are the same, but they did improve on a few things.
Yeah, they got like the mouse feature that I too have never used.
I've never used it either. So, I mean, but they do feel like better built. I mean, this, like you said, the design of it a little, but yeah.
And I agree with Zen. Whatever we say about any of these controllers, I will take this over capacitive controls. I like the whole, like somebody asked, Tofu earlier was like, what would you rank an Amico controller? Well, I've never played with an Amico controller, but I can tell you I played Amico Home on my phone, and I hate the fact that like I hate using a screen as a controller. So give me any of these over that. And that is our tier ranking. It may not be your tier ranking, Jeremiah, but it is our tier ranking of what is here. The link to this tier chart is in the description, especially if you're a content creator. Please, by all means, do, even if it's just a segment of this, do a video, tag me in it. I would love to watch how you guys rank these. All the PlayStation controllers would be an S for Zenbloke, just so you're aware. And absolutely have fun with it. Obviously, this is not every controller to ever exist. But you know, it's a good starting point, and you can absolutely make your own additions to it. So by all means, have at it. Even if you don't have a whatchamacallit, a channel, just do it on your own. It's harder than it looks when you're doing like everything. The CX53 is actually a really good trackball. It's a quality. That's the 5200 trackball, if I'm remembering my numbers correctly. But this was really cool. I enjoyed doing it, even though we definitely upset some people. I think Andy left. Andy left after we put the Jaguar. He wanted both Jaguar controllers at S. That just wasn't going to happen. But I will say, because we got Brian has he's got to go to bed. Brian was very concerned when we were at like 43 minutes in and we weren't almost done. Next week we're gonna have a really fun one. We love doing the top 5 episodes, so whether you love the system or hate it, we're going to do our top 5 Nintendo 64 games. I have reached out to Gamer Aimer, and I will be reaching out to Super Mega Graphics 64. And so those are our 2 people that we're hoping will be on. But if either one of them can't for whatever reason or doesn't want to, we will find some other guests, and we will make sure that we have 4 of us to do all that, because it is a lot of fun to do those top 5s. And we make fun of each other's picks, and Jeremiah roots for Brian, and it's lots of fun. Offset thumbsticks gets a 4 out of 10. Light gun tier list, that would be a much shorter episode because there aren't as many of them. And Zen, I mean, I've kind of done, like, I'd be happy to collab with you, but it'd be a very different episode because we'd be arguing over thumbsticks, whereas we agreed. But Game Sir is Jung. Oh, and he's still here. Yeah, so, and subpar D-pad was, yes, that absolutely is something that we talked about. But I want to thank you guys for hanging with us. I want to thank a special thank you to Brian, because I know he was getting stressed out as we hit that hour 20 mark. So, and we are now just over 2 hours. So we are going to say goodnight, and we will see you next week on the Retro Replay Podcast. Bye, everybody.